In this video, I'm going to talk to you about not only how to meditate, but why to meditate. I find that a lot of clients come to see me, and when I ask them about meditation, there's a number of things that they will say. So I'll get into that in a moment. But for now, it's really important to understand that most of us don't tend to put much effort towards things if we don't feel that there's some strong reason, right? You need a strong why, a strong motivator in order to put in the effort, or definitely to get yourself past obstacles, right? If you don't have a strong motivation and you run into some difficulty with trying to achieve something, at the first sign of trouble, you're going to go, what's the point? I might as well, give up. It's not working. So I want to go through a few things in this video. And the first thing is getting a strong why for you about why to meditate, then going through what is meditation from my perspective. And that might be different from what you've understood meditation to be, or what techniques you might have used in the past. And then go through how to meditate. And that's my 3-step process that I'll give to you towards the end of the video. It's really simple, but just because the process or the steps are simple doesn't mean that achieving it is simple, as most people know. So let me tell you a little story about myself. So with me in meditation, I've been doing various forms, I suppose, of meditation, but pretty consistently a very similar process to what you'll learn later for the last more than 20 years, maybe 25 years. But I really didn't appreciate how critical and important meditation can be to your mental health and your physical health until about 7 years ago. And it was around that time when I was doing a lot of employee assistance counseling work. I was also a single father to 3 young children. And so I was counseling on average about 25 to 30 people a week for not a lot of money, I must tell you. So I felt like I was going backwards financially. I was under major stress financially. I was having the kids with me half of every weekend, and I'd have my 2 eldest, my 2 boys with me every Tuesday night, take them to school Wednesday morning, and try and have some kind of a life in between that. And although I was trying to do exercise at the time, and I was doing a little bit of it, the amount of pressure and stress that was on me was starting to take a toll. After 4 years of running on that hamster wheel, and things started to sort of break down. I just found that the stress levels that I was feeling were sort of wearing me was making it very difficult even for me to get through the day of doing counseling of usually 6 people, sometimes 7 people in a day. And, most of the things that people came to talk about were heavy subjects in the AP. The number one reason people come to employee assistance is for their mental health. It's anxiety, stress, depression. The number 2 reason is the other part of my life, which is people come and talk about relationships and couples. And that's when I first started getting experience in that area. But it was during this time that I found that the only way that I could get through a day was to find mini gaps during the day where I could meditate. And I would do the kind of meditation that I'm going to show you today. And it was a lifesaver. It literally was a lifesaver, because when I was really sort of struggling, and I found, whether it was at a lunchtime or during a tea break or something, and I would just find that space. Luckily, I had a room that I could do, but you could easily go for a walk, go sit in a park, sit on a bench. Where there's a will, there's a way, if you want to do it during the day. And I would take 15 minutes. Sometimes if I was doing well in the meditation and enjoying it, I would go on to about 20 minutes. And the experience that I had after that of feeling like I'd hit the reset button, my energy levels were back, my mental clarity and motivation returned, and I just felt more peaceful and more able to see myself through to the rest of to finish the day. And when you do 15 minutes of meditation like that, the effect is not just while you're doing the meditation. The effect can last through the rest of your day. That's how powerful this reset can be for you. So I hope that's enough of a why of why you should do it. But I'm going to give you a couple of more reasons why it will work. But first, let's talk about what meditation is and what meditation is not. When I ask some of my clients about whether they meditate, a lot of them will say, yes, they do meditation. And when I ask what type of meditation, a lot of people will say, I listen to guided meditation, or I listen to a meditation audio online or through an app, and I use it to help me go to sleep, or I use it at night, or whenever it is, it doesn't matter. And whilst that's okay, and it probably will guide you, particularly if you're finding it very difficult just to settle, there's nothing wrong with that. So there's two issues I have with people doing a guided meditation. Number one, when you do a guided meditation, and people often do it at night before they go to sleep, the problem with that is that you go to sleep and you cannot get the full benefit of a true meditation by falling asleep at any point. You must be completely conscious all the way through. You might drift a bit, and the best way that you can avoid this, which is part of how I ask people to meditate, is you must be sitting up, right? You could be sitting up on your bed with your back supported, legs crossed, get comfortable, do it in a chair, do it on the couch, do it on the floor, but you must be upright so that you activate something called the reticular system in your brain that knows whether you're lying down or you're sitting up. Because if you're lying down, your brain goes, sleep time, and off you go. Okay, so you need to give yourself the best chance to stay awake all the way through, because you only get to experience the mental, emotional, and physical benefits of this type of meditation when you get through to the 15 minutes and you're still awake. So you can experience the difference between how you felt before you started and how you felt afterwards. Like I tell a lot of my clients, for any technique that you use, that I give them, give yourself a 1 to 10 of how stressed or anxious or depressed you are before you do it. Then go and do it for 15 minutes, whatever it is you're going to do, and then come back. And if you have dropped, let's say you were an 8 stressed, and then you went to do a meditation, even if it wasn't a great one, and you came back and you feel like you've dropped to a 7, only one little notch, it's proof, and it's worked. And basically you didn't need to pay for it. You didn't need to take a drug that would be bad for you. In 15 minutes of doing something completely natural, you have been able to show yourself that you can lower your stress level. You can lower your anxiety. You can improve that feeling of depression to a better place. Even by 1 notch is still impressive. It's still good. The other issue I have with people using guided meditations, not just going to sleep, but at any time, is that when you are listening to an audio, you are still stimulating the brain. The goal of a meditation is to basically reduce all activity, all stimulation, all thought. And you can only do that in silence. Even if especially if you fall asleep listening to music or a guided meditation or a story, you might think you're sleeping and you're having a very good quality sleep, but your brain, your subconscious is still listening to the story. And so there is still stimulation happening. So when I do a meditation, the goal for me is to reduce everything. It's basically like you're trying to get to a complete reset. And when I go through the 3 steps, you'll understand how that happens and why it happens. So the next part is basically you need to get past your excuses, right? Most of my clients have got a whole list of reasons about, well, not a huge list. There's only usually a couple of things that people say about why they don't meditate or why they can't meditate. And let's list a few of them. Can you guess any? Well, here's the first one. The first one is, I can't meditate. That's like people telling me I don't dream. I said, just because you don't remember your dream doesn't mean you don't dream. Everybody dreams, right? And there's ways to remember your dreams. Maybe we'll do a video on that one day. But basically, everybody can meditate. I grant you that some people, it's harder than others, but that's if their brains are wired slightly differently. So somebody who's got ADD or ADHD obviously has a harder road to go down, but I still stand by everybody can meditate, right? It can feel like, and this is one of the excuses when people sit down, is I can't get my mind to get still. I can't quiet my mind. My mind just races off. I'm sitting there and then 5 minutes later, I'm still thinking about all the different things in my life. And I say, yes. And that's why the steps that I give you don't start with your thinking, right? They start with your physiology. So we'll go into that because that's easier to control. You can't start with trying to slow down your thoughts. Doesn't work, right? Just doesn't work. So next excuse, well, maybe not an excuse, but maybe it's a way people think about meditation. They say meditation is airy-fairy, or they think of it like, you need to be a monk in an orange robe sitting on a mountain and meditating all day long. And that's just an image that people have of meditation, right? For me, meditation is actually very simple. It's very practical. And if you look at the research, and if you actually get hold of my book, then Black Belt Mind, there is a chapter on meditation called Meditation is Mandatory. And in fact, I think I'll give away that chapter in the description of this video. So just click the link and you can get a copy of that full chapter where I talk much more about the science behind it and some of the research around what happens with meditation, including what they found when they analyzed and did brain scans of Tibetan monks when they were meditating. It's quite amazing stuff. So there's a number of things that in terms of the benefits of meditation. So in fact, meditation is actually quite scientific. It's not airy-fairy. When you experience the benefits of the type of meditation I'm teaching you today, you will never look back. The best thing about it is it's free. You can use it anytime you want. I've used it on airplanes. I get nervous sometimes, not always, or not even nervous. Sometimes I'm on the airplane and you're sitting in that seat waiting for everybody to get on board and people are making noises and you're stuck in your seat. And sometimes the best thing you can do there is learn how to zone everything out and go through this meditation process. And then you just sort of come back out of it when the airplane is leveling out. It's an amazing experience, honestly. There's so many times you can use even a part of the meditative process. You could use just step one, which is about breathing. At any time, you can be in the middle of a business meeting and do it. You could be stopped at a traffic light and you could use it. So there's parts of the technique, particularly the first one on the breathing, that you can use anywhere, anytime, in front of people. They wouldn't even know you were doing it, right? So definitely it's important not to think of all this technique as something that you absolutely need dedicated time and space. I mean, you do in terms of if you want to do the full meditation, you absolutely need quiet space and definitely not to be disturbed. As I say in the book, if you're doing this at home and you've got a partner or kids or a flatmate, just tell them they cannot disturb you for the next 20 minutes on penalty of death, right? Or a lawsuit. And the only caveat is if the house is burning down, right? Other than that, make sure no one's going to disturb you and you've got the time. Another excuse I get is that people have tried meditation before and it didn't work for them. That's like saying I once jumped in a swimming pool and I nearly drowned and so I can't swim, right? You have to keep trying, right? It's a discipline. It's practice, especially with your brain, right? Your brain, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 47 at the moment. And yes, I've been meditating for a while, but if I was just starting to meditate, I would have had 47 years of my brain reacting in a certain way. Your brain's not going to suddenly go, oh, okay, let's do this new thing. Your brain's going to go, no, I want to do the thing I've always done, right? Your brain is like a puppy, right? It doesn't like to be trained, but if you're persistent, then you'll get there and you'll get the results. And then the final excuse that my favorite is, I don't have time. Really? Who doesn't have 15 minutes in their day for something that is so important for their mental health, their physical health, their relationships, their capability and ability to be motivated and perform and achieve in their life and to show up as the best version of themselves? Who doesn't have 15 minutes to do that? You could get it earlier, literally wake up 20 minutes earlier and do it, right? But I still think the best time to do it is sometime during the course of your day. Yeah, you might do it in the morning, but I think definitely aim to do it at some point in the day, because during the day, that's when your stress levels are rising. That's when certain things have happened that have disturbed you or upset you or caused you some anxiety or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But if you do that, you then get a nice sort of reset halfway through the day. So lunchtime is a good time, actually, to do it. And then you can basically sail through the rest of the day. And then you don't have to worry about, should I meditate at night or whatever. You could literally just do the breathing technique at night. But you do whatever works for you. But I think that reset in the day is really, really powerful. So no excuse around time, right? Everybody could have 15 minutes. You can find it for sure. In fact, what I say in the book is you can't afford to not have the time for meditation. So just in case you weren't already convinced, here's another couple of maybe 6 or 7 reasons why you should meditate, right? This is the why. Number one, you might have realized already, you're going to reduce the stress levels in your body. Now that's physically, you're going to calm your body down. You're going to bring your heart rate down. You're going to bring your cortisol levels down. You're probably going to bring your cholesterol level down. So that's really important. You're going to quiet the mind. So the activity of your mind is going to slow down. And that's really important. I sometimes describe your mind as a bit like a computer that's got too many programs running at the same time. I'm sure you've had that experience when, you know, the RAM memory of the computer says, too many things at once, and it kind of freezes, right? That's kind of what happens when you get into major stress. Your brain goes into a kind of panic freeze mode. And so you can't kind of undo it one by one, not usually. You have to just start again with a reset. And that's what the meditation can do for you. So another thing is we know that more and more research is now showing that meditation is also a way to increase your serotonin levels. And serotonin is the key neurotransmitter in a feeling of peace and feeling secure and feeling a sense of well-being and happiness in life. And serotonin connects to so many other physiological processes, including appetite, sleep cycles, sexual appetite, a whole range of things. It's one of the most pervasive neurotransmitters in your system. So anything that's going to help increase your serotonin is going to be beneficial for you as well.